Doubt, movie review. So this is a 2008 movie starring Philip Seymour Hoffman and Meryl Streep. Based on the marketing surrounding this movie when it came out and some of the clips that got shown on late night talk shows, I got the impression that this movie was about a crisis of faith. I mean, it's right there in the title, isn't it? Doubt. The movie is about concerns about a priest acting inappropriately with children, like one of these priest sexual scandals. But I got the impression that perhaps the movie would be about the crisis of religious faith that comes from when you find out that people in positions of religious authority are doing these awful things. I got it all wrong. That's not what this movie is about at all, somewhat to my disappointment, because I actually had been expecting a movie that kind of gets deep into the questions about what it means to believe in God. This movie isn't the movie I was expecting, but it's an interesting movie nonetheless. The movie is about a showdown between the head nun, played by Meryl Streep, and the priest, played by Philip Seymour Hoffman, at a boys' school. Meryl Streep's character, the head nun, is convinced that the priest is having an inappropriate relationship with one of the altar boys. Philip Seymour Hoffman's character, the priest, strongly denies it. The point of view character is a nun called Sister James, and she's caught in the middle of the argument, and she vacillates, not knowing who to believe. At one point, the evidence appears to suggest Hoffman is the one in the right. And at another point, we get the impression that Meryl Streep's character is correct. However, spoiler alert, at no point in the movie do we ever get conclusive evidence that either side is right. And no matter who Sister James is siding with at the moment, she and the audience are always plagued with doubts about what the real truth is. Now, this isn't overtly about religious faith, but I got the impression that this was supposed to be a metaphor for religious faith. We never really know what the truth of it is. I mean, is atheism correct? Is Christianity correct? Or whatever religion. At times we lean towards one side or the other, depending on what the circumstantial evidence of the moment seems to be. But either way, we're always plagued by this doubt. So that was my take on it. It was supposed to be a metaphor for religious faith. And as such, it's clever as far as it goes. But my problem was it doesn't go any further than this. The film never offers any deep insight into what the nature of faith is. Plus, once you clue into what the premise of this film is, it just never really develops it. I mean, you see this battle of wills continue between Hoffman and Streep throughout the entire runtime of the movie. But then once that's established, it never really gets taken to any other new or interesting places. You just have to watch this same thing play out. What makes this film worth watching, though, and why I would recommend it, is the tremendous acting job of both Meryl Streep and Philip Seymour Hoffman put into this film. This is a kind of film where if the actors had been anybody differently, it wouldn't have been worth watching. But Philip Seymour Hoffman and Meryl Streep do a tremendous job. They really carry this film. And for that reason alone, I recommend checking it out. If you get the DVD version, the director's commentary is interesting. The film takes place in a Catholic neighborhood from the early 1960s, and the director had grown up in a Catholic neighborhood in the early 1960s. So I believe it's the director and the writer. Now, as far as I can tell, there was nothing in their upbringing about abusive priest or anything like that. So that part is all pure fiction. Although even within the movie it's not proven. That part is all pure fiction. But all of the other details come around from their own life. For example, giving yourself a bloody nose to try and get out of class, or all the little period details, much of which comes from their own experience growing up. And they go into this in the commentary. So that's quite interesting.